If that is the case, then we have to realize that what has ultimately brought evil and suffering in this world is our departure from God. Sin is a violation of purpose. We have departed from Him, and the solidarity of our humanity has that ripple effect where it comes upon all of us: pain, suffering, anguish. And when we come back to Him, we come back to Him by faith and by His grace in order to sustain us and give us that day-to-day strength. So if you are suffering as a person, as a questioner, I just say to you, first remember what Chesterton said: when belief in God becomes difficult, the tendency is to turn away from Him. But in heaven's name, to what? When belief in God becomes difficult, the tendency is to turn away from Him. In heaven's name, to what? What paradigm are we going to turn to answer this question? Are we going to say it doesn't matter or it's not real? So I give you two illustrations, what I want to sustain you with here. Annie Johnston Flint was one of the greatest hymn writers. If you read her biography, it's called The Making of the Beautiful, written by Roland Bingham. She was born as Annie Johnston. Shortly after that was orphaned and raised by the Flint family, and so she's known to the world as Annie Johnston Flint. She suffered a lot in her life. She got rheumatoid arthritis till she was twisted up in bed for many, many decades. She had cancer inside of her. She was incontinent and lived on diapers, and blindness started to overtake her. She was a beautiful hymn writer, and one of the most beautiful hymns she wrote, Roland Bingham said before she died, from head to toe, there were so many boils and marks on her body from lying in bed that she needed 8 pillows just to cushion her body. And she wrote this: He giveth more grace when the burdens grow greater. He sendeth more strength when the labors increase. To added affliction He addeth His mercy. To multiplied trials His multiplied peace. When we have exhausted our store of endurance, when our strength has failed ere the day is half done, when we reach the end of our hoarded resources, our Father's full giving has only begun. His love has no limit, His grace has no measure, His power has no boundaries known unto men, for out of His infinite riches in Jesus He giveth and giveth and giveth again. The grace of God that sustains you will be the testimony that will carry you ultimately to the end of the day. And you know what? This is not a cakewalk. I would never have dreamed that I would have to live with the kind of ailment that I'm living with right now. But when I injured it, I little realized how it was going to change my life. So I want to give you this little positive illustration. And then may I recommend you get our book called Why Suffering? I've co-authored it with my colleague from Oxford, Vince Vitale. He is a brilliant writer. Vince has some insights into this that are so good. And he's just a powerful, his PhD is in philosophy from Oxford University. He's on our faculty at the Oxford Center for Christian Apologetics. So the Zachariah and Vitale, Why Suffering? We go through several angles into this. About 3 summers ago, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and one of my friends from Singapore, his name is Du Eng Seng. He was the CEO of Gillette for Asia Pacific. He's a very fine man. And Du phoned me and said, Brother Ravi, are you going to be in town tomorrow? I'm in Atlanta. I'd love to see you. I said, Du, I'm leaving tomorrow for 5 weeks. I'd love to see you too, but really, I'm not going to be here after midday. I've got to be flying out. He said, Ravi, I have to see you. I thought, oh, brother, something's wrong. I said, all right, I'll meet you for a quick breakfast. It'll be 30 minutes, and then I'll have to go back home, pick up my bags, and leave. He said, that's fine. So we met at a little pancake house type place. We ordered the pancakes, and they sat there in front of us. We never even touched them. He said, you know, Ravi, I wake up every morning, and I've had a habit. Before I wash up and get on my knees for my formal time of prayer, I lie in bed for about 30 minutes, and I just say this, Lord, speak to me if there's anything you want me to do to prepare for this day. And he said, I lie there. He said, yesterday being in Atlanta, you were so much on my mind. And he said, and you came to my mind. And I said, Lord, is there any word you want me to give my brother Ravi? He said, and God spoke to me, and that's why I wanted to see you. Boy, that scared me. Never had anything happen like this. He looked at me and he said, God told me in my thinking there to tell you that the anointing on your life in the years to come will be greater than the years that have gone by. I just looked at him. I said, you sure the Lord told you this? He said, yes, my brother. He said, but then he told me something, and that's why I wanted to see you. He said, tell Ravi, he will still have a lot of struggles and challenges physically, but I'm going to take care of him 3, 4, 5. He said, Lord, I don't know what you mean. He said, you tell Ravi, he'll know what I mean. I'm here to tell you the Lord said you'll have many challenges, but he's going to take care of you 3, 4, 5. Does that mean anything to you? I said, for the last 28 years, I have lived with a broken back, and it came about by the herniation of L3-4 and L4-5. And I'm straddled from L3 to S1, those bolts in me. So when you say 3, 4, 5, all I can think of is L3, 4 and L4, 5. He started crying. He said, I knew nothing of what the spine is like. He said, where is this? So I told him, just above that belt line. He put his hand on my back and he prayed for me. I've been prayed for many times. I've got all the oils in the world that can be tested, So if you're sending me any, please send it to somebody else who might need it. I've got all the oils that I need. I'm joking about that. I've appreciated those who've tried to help me. He prayed. I went back home and I was hurriedly trying. I couldn't even bend down. I can't lift a suitcase. I can't lift a bag. So I traveled with my colleague. And I told Margie, I said, honey, something happened this morning, but I don't want you to tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Here's what happened. She said, oh, wow. So we left. My colleague, Kryn, who was here till today, took ill and he's flown back to Atlanta. He came, picked me up, went to the airport, went around, and next airport, we're checking, going through security, and after security, I'd get on my knees and tie my shoelace because I could not cross my legs. If I did this, just pull, and I'd be limping for days. Without even thinking, I sat on a chair, crossed my leg, and started to tie my shoelace. And he looked at me and said, what are you doing? From that day till now, I have never had any pain in my back. Just a minute. Am I nervous that it might return? Or ye of little faith? Do I have tightness? Am I have to be careful? But Thomas travels with me now. I'll tell you, I do naughty things. I'll pick up my suitcase, pick up my bags, put them up there. I'll do all kinds of things. I just say, Lord, if you're really healed, man, I need to at least be able to put my briefcase up on the top out there. I don't know what it means, but I just want to tell you, God works on a timetable. He didn't come for Lazarus when they wanted him to come for Lazarus.